How's it going, everybody? This is Rob Novakast back with another video talking about Death Note. And with this video, the two episodes we're going to talk about is 17 and 18. Oh boy, quite a bit to talk about. So let's just go ahead and get into this. Okay, so episode 17. It continues with Light's father and Misa still in captivity due to L. And I guess it's been a span of 50 days where they've been confined. Inevitably, L has to decide whether or not it's, actually them. Even though, Kira has been continuing to kill, or at least, whoever is, at this point has a death note, is continuing the killings as Kira. And it kind of gets worse for a brief second with Light's father proceeding to basically pick up his son, pick up Misa, and kind of go over this whole spiel about how L basically considers Misa and Light both as Kira. And instead of, a trial and execution, they're just going to go straight with the execution. And my gosh, this is really messed up because you have Light professing his innocence, even though we know that, at this point he doesn't remember himself being Kira, as well as Misa trying to, in whatever way she can, protect Light. So at this point, both of them are basically, trying to prove their innocence, although it doesn't seem fruitful at first, because in this turn of events, we have Light's dad basically, planning to, instead of taking to the facility where they're going to be quote-unquote executed, he goes to the side of in some secluded area where he was going to proceed to shoot Light and then himself. But after, by the way, firing the round of him supposedly killing his son, turns out that was a ruse. And at this point, what is going on is, turns out it was just test, where L wanted to see if either Misa or Light would kill Light's father. So, and they passed. Though, to some regard, L still has his suspicions. So afterwards, they discuss further about how they're going to continue this case, as well as where they're going to continue the case. And it turns out that L had a building built to continue the investigation in private, so they didn't have to move back and forth from hotels. And the site of this building looks amazing. It's an animated show, but at the same time, it is such a cool design for a building. But anyway, so that's all set up, and we kind of get an idea of who might possibly be one of the holders of the notebook. I say holders because turns out that it's a bunch of figureheads who've, I guess, climbed the ladder of their company, and they are kind of basically in this meeting to decide who's going to die next. And it's Rem, who is the Shinigami, that is basically setting all of this up. So, yeah, that's pretty fucked up. So, episode 18, where basically our characters, L, Light, are trying to continue their investigation, in the new Kira. Because again, Light has no idea that he used to be Kira. And Misa is basically his full-fledged girlfriend being with him, almost 24/7. And actually that brings up something that I forgot to mention about the last episode. One of the stipulations of this new building and the new facilities when it comes down to the investigation, as well as setting up the freedom for Misa and Light, was that L had to be with Light 24/7 till they completed the case. And Misa was under surveillance to some degree. And in that regard, yeah, they basically, everything's set up where everybody is staying at this building. We have a really funny moment with Misa, L, and Light, who at first, I guess they're eating cake. Misa doesn't want any, and L tries to get her cake, and when she makes a remark about cake making you fat, he kind of goes, like, flashes back and saying, "Oh, I'm pretty sure you burn more calories by using your brain." And this kind of angered Misa, and then we end up having a fight between L and Light, because at this point in time, L is, for lack of a better word, not as motivated as he was to continuing the investigation. And at this point, it's at least brought up by Light that L truly wants Light to be Kira, but doesn't have the evidence to prove it. So at this point, it's kind of like on a standstill and kind of putting him in a bad mood. But continuing further, like with their investigation, they find out that whoever's causing the killings for Kira at this point is part of a corporation, because several corporations, apparently, their earnings or stock or whatever have been going down, besides one. And with other things going on, apparently Kira has bribed the police to not pursue the Kira case. Otherwise, Kira, or whoever's acting as Kira, would proceed to start killing politicians. So at this point, everybody who is still part of the case is no longer acting on the police behalf, but want to continue the case. So that's interesting, to say the least. Which, by the way, ends up irritating one of the cops, who inevitably quits. And near the end of the episode, we end up being introduced to two more players of the investigation, a thief and a con man. So, what will the future hold with these two characters? I don't know, as well as our other characters. Again, I don't know. This is all new to me, especially when it comes down to doing these videos. So, with that, I think that's my final thoughts of Death Note, at least for episodes 7 and 18, or 17 and 18. What are your thoughts? Love to hear what you guys have to say. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you guys want to follow us on social media, links are in the description down below, as well as check out our daily content and the weekly podcast. With that being said, this is Novakast signing off. Have a good one, and take care. Peace. 2, 3, 5.